Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and I just wanted to share with you an update on the webinar that I ran last Friday. If you're watching this in real time, today is Thursday, and I had Clairvoyant Gina Batt come along again because we did one back in April, and I asked if she could do a reading for July, and I kind of said possibly and beyond. And so she did a channeled clairvoyant reading for the group of people who are on the webinar, talking about this month and also what's coming up in the time ahead. Now, when we ran it a couple of months ago, she had some slides and sent them to me, and just something stood out straight away. And I said, Gina, are you okay for me to share part of this slide? There's one piece I really feel I want to highlight. And so this is the slide that I shared on my Facebook page, and I blurred it out because I didn't want to spoil it for the people who are going to be attending the webinar. But the bit I left was, I'm given potentially, she says, I'm given potentially 5 whistleblowers. That's in that very top sentence. And of all the slides she sent me, that was the one I just looked and I thought, oh, that's what I want to share. And I think this thing about the whistleblowers is going to be significant. It just feels like it. So I shared that on my page. The very next day, someone who was on the webinar tagged me in and says, have you seen the news headlines today? It's like, no. Sent me a link. You can see it on the screen. The news headline less than 24 hours afterwards was, without a trace, 5 Wuhan whistleblowers. So Gina had talked about the 5 whistleblowers. There's going to be something significant happening in the news with not one. She didn't say 1. She didn't say 2. She didn't say 3. She didn't say 4. She said 5. And I posted that slide the day before. So it's all time stamped. It's all date stamped. And then the next day, that was a news headline, the 5 whistleblowers. So, you know, I always say to my clients, Gina is spookily accurate, amazing, always has been. I've known her now for 20 years. So that's what happened last time around. This time around, we were talking, and she says, oh, I don't really want to worry people, so I'll probably not make a big deal of it. But there was the whole thing about, she kept getting this thing about the second wave, the second wave, the second wave. So she kind of put that on one of her slides. The very next day, you know, there was kind of rumblings of it, but, you know, people be sensible. We don't want a second wave, and, you know, can't really count that. And then this week, I got an email from one of my clients in Australia. So it actually, I hadn't seen it on the UK news yet. It wasn't on really any of the feeds, but she said, Marilyn, I don't, she wanted to then ask about putting a session in because she's feeling stressed. But she said, I don't know if you know, but we are going back into lockdown tonight because there has been a second wave. And so this stuff, actually, let me see if I can find it while I'm here, because let me just see if I can. Gina Clairvoyant. Let's see. Have I got her copy of her slides? What's that one? No. What do I call this? This was. I'm just seeing if I can find her slides just while we're about it, just so I can show you. I might have to find it later, but I've got a copy of her slides. Just trying to think, where else would I? Second wave. Now, if a brainwave comes into, how can I extract it really fast? Where do I put it there? Just having a quick, just so I can show you the slide so you can see it for yourself. No. No, I'm not going to be able to find it immediately because it's within a presentation, but I was just kind of trying to see if there's a way I could kind of pull it out and extract it for you. But I'll find it maybe later and I'll put it in. But yeah, it's crazy cool stuff. So those of you who are on the webinar, and Gina, we finished the call and she's like, what did I say? I'm like, I don't know, because we're both on it. But if any of you do this sort of work, you all know that when you're speaking, And the stuff is coming, particularly when the way Gina channels, it's just amazing. She's got a team, like the 10,000 or whatever she calls them. So it really is quite profound to watch her in action. But it's almost like that stream of consciousness. It's like if I'm running a workshop or doing a clearing or something like that, people are like, oh my God, can you say that again? I'm like, no, but I hope somebody wrote it down, because it just comes as a potential stream. Hi, Natalie, how are you? Lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. A wave to you too. But yeah, it's just such cool stuff. It is just such cool, amazing stuff. And what's really lovely is, you know, you're not trying to make it fit, because it's like, well, we said it, here it is, it's in the webinar, just go back and watch the webinar. And it's all there. So I'm actually going to go back and look at some of the other things. Normally I just kind of, a bit like when I do Tarot Tuesday for my membership group every month, I always say to the group, you know what, I mean, like already people have watched the replay, because I do it as a Facebook Live, and they've come back and gone, oh my God, that's amazing, spot on. And somebody said, oh, that thing, and I said, I have no idea what I said, but I'm really glad that it's spot on for you. But every once in a while, I sometimes say to people, go back and re-listen to something, because then you'll have those profound moments where you go, oh my gosh, I didn't even really think about it, but you said this and you said that, and I've had that loads of times, to the point where I did the comparison blog at one point, because it was so profound that what I had said on the readings every month was happening for people word for word. So what I did at some point, I went back and I sat, I rarely go back and listen to my own stuff. I sat and I listened to the recordings, and then I put that side by side in terms of the words, what I had said during the Tarot Tuesday readings, and what had happened for people and what they said. And I just put them side by side, and it's pretty much word for word. There's a whole blog about that. I'll drop that into the comments if you want to watch it. But this is a bit like that. So yeah, it's cool stuff. It's always amazing. The easiest way at the moment, because the links are really long, let me find it. The easiest way, if you want to listen to the webinar replay, if you're watching this in real time, it's going to be easier, because then you're going to have to scroll down the thread if it's a few months from now. But go to my main website. There's a red What's New button at the top. Click that. A panel will slide out, and that's probably only the second or third thing down on the thread, because we ran it so recently. But that's the way that you can access the video webinar replay. My website address is www.transformationstm.com. Trance is TRANCE. Formations, F for Freddy, so FORMATIONS. TM is in trademark, so transformationstm.com, and then click on the What's New button. If you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, you can drop me an email, Marilyn, MARILYN, at transformationstm.com. So yeah, just wanted to share that update with you in terms of the cool stuff that is already unfolding, and we will see what else unfolds. And I'm going to go back and look at the slides. I might even at some point just hit play on the recording and just have it playing in the background, just to actually have a reminder of kind of what we talked about and what we said. But yeah, cool stuff. Excellent. Hope you're all well. Fingers crossed, the Melbourne, Australia, going into lockdown for second wave. Everybody else is going to get a little bit of a heads up from that and be able to shift and change themselves accordingly. Hey, kind of Satdev, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Good evening to you too. Lovely to have you here. Wonderful. And yeah, we're just in very interesting times. And for those of you joining me for the soul plan, the global soul plan reading, go and watch the video I did about 5 minutes before this one, where I've explained, I talked, you know, somebody's already gone, wow, spot on, with just a little tiny extract of their soul plan that I shared today as a Facebook post. She was like, wow, so accurate. That's exactly where I am. That's exactly what's going on with money and the ups and downs and the challenges. So, you know, I just did a video about that. So it will be underneath this one if you're watching it in real time. And eventually all of them go onto my YouTube channel as well, which is Marilyn Devonish. And Devonish is DEV for Victor, ONISH. So if you signed up for the global soul plan video webinar, I'll send the first batch of soul plans out probably tomorrow, and then the next batch I'll send out probably next Thursday / Friday. So you're going to get a written copy of your soul plan, and then I'm going to do the readings. So I won't be saying who's who. I'll just be saying, right, those of you who've got 7/7, those of you who've got 8/8, those of you who've got a 9/9, those of you who've got the 4/4, and of course you'll have your soul plan in front of you, and then you can kind of relate to that, and the feedback we had about that last time, because after I finished, somebody said, oh, you know, how did people experience it? But this is just one of the people who took part when I ran it back in 2018 for the first time, and they said, thank you for an amazing call. It's unbelievable how accurate it is about me. So that's the Soul Plan video webinar that's coming up. And if you can't make it live, of course, the date's going to be agreed with those of you who have signed up, and of course, if you can't make it live, there will be a replay. Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for watching. Lovely to have you all here. Let me know what you make of the webinar, Gina's Clairvoyant webinar. And if you listen to the end of the webinar, Gina also did an offer for my contacts and clients and readers. So if you get in touch with her, we put the link in as well, and just use the coupon code, the promo code, and that will take 20% off if you did want to do, actually, she did 20% off everything. So it's not just about the one-to-one readings. If you wanted a clairvoyant reading, I highly recommend it. It's also about the 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months packages that she's got. And also she's got other processes like walk through the woods, etc. And her psychic development workshop, I think that's on there as well. So we talk about the coupon code at the end of the clairvoyant reading webinar, so definitely check that out if you'd like a reading for yourself, because they're always jaw-droppingly amazing, to the point where she said to one of my friends, I recommended she do a reading with Gina, and Gina had talked about getting a new job at an airport where you're going to drive across the tarmac in a white like van to another building, which made absolutely no sense. And some of you know Sunny Olmo. She doesn't mind me sharing this. She's talked about it herself a lot. Sunny then has an interview for a job at the airport. She still works in that job to this day, some 7 or 8 years later. And so they say, oh, you're going to be interviewed in the other building. They say the name and it doesn't mean anything to her. And then they walk out on the tarmac and get into a white van and drive across the tarmac to the other building. That is how specific it often is. So at the time, often it doesn't make sense. You're like, all right then. But as things unfold, there's no way you could have missed that, because Sunny was like, whoa, deja vu. So she's just cool. So yeah, I highly recommend. Oh gosh, I think it might be bookme.name/Gina Batt or /AskGina. Anyway, it's in the webinar. Watch the webinar. I'll put the link under this video as well when I put it up on YouTube. And if you're watching it in real time, then do, make the most of the offer that she's made to get 20% off if you've been challenged by the current COVID-19 situation in terms of your finances. Cool. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share this video with anyone who might benefit from any of this information and this stuff. That would be amazing. And I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.